In the previous video, I showed you about relative referencing and absolute referencing. In this video, I'm going to be showing you an example, something you've done in school that you can relate or use to understand relative and absolute referencing. So I'm going to create a new sheet, and in this sheet, we're actually going to do a multiplication table. Multiplication table. That's what we want to create. That's simple, isn't it? Now, in a multiplication table, what we actually want to do is we just want to create we just want to create this one, and we're just going to come here plus another one, and I'm just going to stretch it. Let's come to something like 10. Beautiful, 10. And so what we're going to do is we're going to replicate this 10 in this side of our table. So it's going to be here and plus 1. So there are interesting functions that we would have used to do this numbering, but I want to take you step by step. I don't just want to start using functions here. So I'm just using formulas now, just formulas for now. Okay. In future videos, we are going to step into using functions to build formulas and then get results from them. So we have these numbers here and we have these other numbers here. So we're going to be multiplying them, creating like a multiplication matrix. Okay, so it's going to be whatever is here, this number, multiplied by whatever is here, and it gives us the answer. So this is the correct answer here. 1 multiplied by 1 is going to give us 1. So, but if I copy it down, I get a problem. And if I copy it this way, also I get a problem. So why is it that we're not able to get the right answer? It's simply because the default reference in Excel is relative referencing. Let's try to fish that out in the problem. So here, I'm going to investigate my formula, and I see it's doing the right thing. The moment this formula is copied down one more row, you see it moves one row down and it looks like it's correct. But if you come to the third one, you see it moves 2 rows down and it is using 2 to multiply 3, whereas we want it to use 1 to multiply 3. So automatically we see that the problem with the blue reference is that it is moving from row to row. So what we do is go to this first formula, look at the blue and look for where is the row ID. The row ID there is 5. And so we're going to put a $sign just before 5. At this point, I want to teach you one way in which you can introduce the $sign. And that is by hitting your F4 button. If we hit our F4 button the first time, it creates an absolute reference for our row and also our column. So you can see that you have a $sign before the column ID and a $sign before the row ID. If I hit my F4 button again, it's going to give me only a $sign before the row ID. If I hit it again, it gives me a $sign before the column ID. And if I hit it back again, it's going to take out all the $sign and return it to a relative reference. For some other laptops, you might see that for you to make the F4 work, you have to press your function key. So function key F4, and it does that job for you. So I'm going to hit my F4 button. I'm going to hit it so that I would lock that row 5. So now I don't want the column to be locked. So I'm going to hit it again. And this is exactly what I want. So just doing the appropriate referencing helps us to get the answer correctly. Now, if this is correct and I, take it this way, I see that it's not correct. So I'm going to go straight and investigate my columns to find out, because I was copying this way, and then I had these errors. Copying down, no errors, but copying this way, I had errors. So I'm going to take any of the columns like this and check what's happening. So you can see this red ought to be here, but it has come this way. Now, because I copied 2 columns away, you can see that it moved 2 columns away from where I want it to be. That already tells me that the column is the issue. So I'm going to come here. It's the red guy. So, but the column in the red guy. So I'm going to use B. B is the column ID. B is the column ID. So I need to lock that B. I don't need to lock 6 because this is row 6. It's all in the same row here. So that couldn't be the problem. It is that which changes that could be the problem, and that's the column ID. So I'm going to just hit this one, copy it down again, because I want to use one formula all through. And then I'm going to just take this way. So now you see that we have gotten everything right. 10 times 10 is going to give us 100. You see. So just knowing what to lock in the formula can help you to get what the answer is. I mean, can help you in your formulas being accurate and correct. And don't just be taken away with the fact that you have relative referencing in Excel. Relative referencing is very good. It helps us to replicate formulas that fast, but your referencing can make the difference between having accurate answers for your formulas and non-accurate answers for your formulas. I hope this helps, and I would advise that you do some more practice with what you're seeing so that you can ingrain this knowledge in your head. Another thing that I want you to do is that whenever you are implementing a function, um, using a formula or whatsoever, ask yourself, are you going to be copying the reference through columns, through rows? So that alone should tell you that you need to do some locking if necessary. So you need to just check it to find out what should I be locking. Sometimes you should just implement your formulas and check again. You need to check very well to see if your referencing would require you to have absolute referencing or relative referencing. If it requires any, you want to implement it. If you've not been using absolute referencing before, you might need to learn by trial and error, and so that this knowledge can stick in your memory. So what that means is simply you can, carry out the formula, implement it, copy it, check if there are errors, and then try to find what you should lock in order to make your formulas correct. As we continue in this course, and as we learn more functions, as we bring in Excel functions into our formulas in Excel, I will be using a lot of these absolute referencing to ensure that our answers are correct. So that's going to provide you another opportunity for you to learn how to use absolute referencing within Microsoft Excel. It is my hope that you have learned something from this course. I'll see you in the next video.